far, I would try to keep track. I can't just arrive at that site. I need to be in the right sequence. If other vehicles are there before me, we will have to go and find something to do for a little while before we can get through the drainage line. Very fat and full of something. Oh, look at that cub, can barely move. One of the adult females, another adult female on the damn wall. Another adult drinking. And
this one looks like it's about a pup.
She's not that a youngster. Now, the question is, ladies and gentlemen of the jury being you viewers out there in the wide, wide world, who are these pussycats? Oh, that looks like there was a big fish rippling in the water. Big catfish, probably. So we're at Twin Dams, which means we're down in the south of Djuma. Morning, Afira. Shalom. Fimashlomech. Afira is asking, could it be the Kahumas? Well, this is the debate. I was thinking we are so far south, and I don't know if Kahumas have ever come this far south, or when they last came this far south. and I'm seeing a couple of youngsters over there that I think are a little bit too small for kahumas. Morning, Uncle.
How are you, bud?
Fine, and you?
Morning, bro.
Good. Morning. A little bit of morning lion light coming through. If the cloud would just thin out a little bit, we might get some nice light. There we go. See, there's algae starting to form on the surface of twin dams. What I'm thinking, Blair Chenet and Blacksmith Lapwing's Blacksmith's not too happy about having cats around. Virginia, saying the Styx Pride have been in the area and they've been fighting around here somewhere. And I'm starting to think it's probably all so Styx. Chenet in New Zealand. Sounds like there are a lot of vehicles that are converging. We might have to... Sorry, just listening to the radio. Excuse me a second. We're going to have to maybe move away for a little while because there are a lot of vehicles wanting to come and see. See, it's a rather quiet morning this morning, and I think because of that a lot of vehicles have been quite well dispersed, but now everyone's starting to make their way here. We're going to need to maybe make space. As far as I can tell, folks, Chris wanted to know how many lion. I'm seeing six. I'll just have to monitor the radio and see if we will need to make space for someone else. But for the time being, we can enjoy them. One lioness had been moving off towards the riverbed, and the others were sort of watching her. Guides are calling them kahumas. Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Very good, and you?
Good.
Six that I could see.
6.
Yeah, Mark, I'll make my way as soon as there's another vehicle ready to come into this lock. Oh, I missed that now. Yeah, I think Ephraim. Okay, folks, we're going to have to move. We'll maybe come back here a little bit later. Tom, come in. Mark, I'm moving out so you can move in. Okay, copied. Then who's first standby? Bye. Enjoy. With a little bit of luck, they won't stay around for the day. If it gets a little bit warm, they're obviously going to have to settle down a little bit. The good thing is that they're pretty full. There's an eagle that just dropped out of the sky. It was so far into the bush, you won't know what it did. I guess lucky that we got here when we did. It is kind of getting busy. There are a lot of vehicles that want to come and view it. So it's possible that they will cycle through. And if we go, maybe we head up towards Twin Dams or something and make a loop. Maybe there's time to come back here later. But I hope we're going to settle down for the rest of the day and stay close by. That would be good. I only saw 6 cats. I'm not too sure who they are. Could be kahumas. The guys are saying kahumas. You can get a good enough look. Not too much going on the radio and too much other activity. Too much distraction. But good to get a view of them though. And try later. I think maybe we ought to go I don't know. No real plan right now. I was hoping we could sit with the lion, but that's only going to happen later. Don't know what they killed, but it doesn't seem anybody else does either, because they've sort of come out of nowhere. Virginia wants to know if there are different types of lions and are they found in different areas in Africa. There aren't really different types. There's only one real sort of African lion, Virginia, Kentucky, by the way. Virginia, there are variations in the genetics within the population of lion depending on the climate, the area that they live in. For example, Kalahari, the lions of the Kalahari and maybe in Namibia are some of the heaviest maned lions here in southern Africa. And then you go up into East Africa, there's the lion of Selous, for example. The males in Selous Game Reserve in Tanzania barely have a mane at all, although there are some individuals that get to be about, as adults, they have a mane of like about a 4-year-old lion down here. And then up in the Serengeti, once again, very heavy maned lions. There are differences in the colors of the manes, and that has a lot to do with sexual selection, got a lot to do with testosterone in different areas too. So there's only one type of lion, but there are different gene pools. There used to be a Cape mountain lion sort of thing. There used to be a very heavily maned lion species down in the Cape, but they were wiped out by humans hunting. Then there was the Northern African Barbary lion. I think there's maybe one left in captivity, and that's it, if I'm not mistaken. Unusual number of vehicles around at the moment because a lot of landowners are here. I think it's probably school holidays and we have a number of long weekends, so there are a number of landowners out here enjoying their property, and they have traversing rights here on Djuma, so they come out as well. quite an extensive question from Elizabeth coming through on Twitter that she would have sent to hashtag Safari Live. Elizabeth is asking, would these lion have TB? She noticed one had a lump on the elbow. Well, that one young female, in fact both of the youngsters of the kahumas, it is probably kahumas by the way, they both have lumps which could be TB. I remember when I was asking viewers to find out what they thought, or to send me their ideas on it, I got a bunch of different answers. Of course there's no real way of knowing, it could well be. The other part of the question is, how do they get it and how long does it take for them to fight it off? I have to be honest, I don't know very much about diseases and lengths of times, and I think yes, they do succumb to TB, or they get it from eating infected animals like buffalo. It's not always fatal, and sometimes they can live with it. But I'd rather not answer any questions about the TB, the diseases. I'm not a vet. I haven't studied veterinary science, and I don't know too much about it. Yes, I need to learn more about. I just know that it is killing off a lot of lion in the Kruger. Excuse me. And that they're probably all carriers. Probably. One would have to take blood tests to find out, I guess. Welcome any new viewers that are joining us now, and I'll show you. There's a beautiful little yellow flower here. This is my welcome to new viewers, especially to the ladies. This is a very pretty little camelina. They have been flowering quite extensively in the summer months and been a little bit dry. This particular plant's been revived a little bit. This is Camelina africana. Most of the camelinas are a lovely blue to mauve. That's a little yellow one. Pretty little thing. Yes, welcome to new viewers. This is our morning safari here at Djuma Game Reserve, if you don't know what's going on. We're in a small patch of the Greater Kruger National Park known as Djuma Game Reserve, and we drive around. We don't have animals in set places. The animals move around all the time and we have to find them, and sometimes we have to read the roads and read the signs, listen to sounds to find the animals. And the beauty of what we do is that we're interactive, that we can talk to you and you can talk to us through our final control. Tara is in final control. She will send messages to me. You can send her questions or messages either on email. You can send to questions@WildEarthTV, or you could send a tweet, hashtag Safari Live, and either way they'll get through to us. And although sometimes there are a lot and we can't get through all the questions, it's nice to be able to answer your questions, nice to be able to talk to you. It's great if you have a class of kids. I know Heike in Germany was asking, it'd be great to have some kids join us for one of their morning classes. Glad to answer the questions from the class. Anything that you might be studying, if you do have a nature study or biology class and there's something I can help with in terms of the practical side of things, wonderful to be able to do that. Especially times like now when we are looking for animals. There isn't anything to see at the moment. Anything could happen at any moment. Rena. Hello, Rena. Morning to you. Can a lion gorge itself to death? I don't know. Very good question. Really? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think most animals have this trigger in the brain that stops us when we fall. We're supposed to. In fact, I think there's a gene for it. So maybe, but I doubt it. I think self-preservation kicks in. I mean, we've seen so many lions that are so full, one wonders how they could even breathe. Even some of those cubs now, so full, that they must be uncomfortable. I don't think that they could gorge themselves to death. What are those insects collecting on the leaves? I wonder. Those very young silver cluster leaf, there seem to be a lot of, could be ants. But why are they doing that? I would like to just quickly hop out and have a look, a little closer inspection. There's a scale insect on the top of the leaf that must be producing a honeydew. It's quite interesting to see, and I can't get closer, and if we do it's going to disturb them. But what basically the ants are harvesting this honeydew type substance from the scale insect, and they're actually fighting over it. They're not fighting, but they're getting quite possessive over individual little insects that are producing the honeydew. So basically they're ants that are farming these scale insects, and they farm them to be able to harvest this sweet liquid that they produce. Interesting. Very. Is one of our zoomies. Now the zoomies are people who zoom and tilt to operate the cameras we have around here. So Priya is asking if we have any clover type plants. We do. So where we do get a type of clover. I'm just trying to think. I used to know the name. Think of it in a second. But I don't think I'll find any now. But I'll glance at the ground every now and then and I'll see if I can find one. But they're more in short grass areas. I don't think they'd grow amongst this. Out of my brain, somewhere in my brain I got it, and I'll tell you why. Because oxalis, no, yes, oxalis, I think is clover, if I'm not mistaken. Sabir, different oxalis species. It's not in. I don't have any in this book. I must look in my other book. My grandmother used to have a tea mug that had a picture, a beautiful hand-painted picture of clover. Just listening to still a lot of vehicles at the line sighting and still standby vehicles, so I'll turn the radio down again. Oh, it's noisy. Have a creature that I'm trying to show you over time. If it may be out. No. Signs that it's been busy in and out of its hole. And it's because it's not night time, we don't have the spotlight with us. Oh, we do actually have this one. Other one's on charge. Let's see if while we've got the camera on the hole, do you see anything down there? Negative. Sometimes we can see it's freshwater crab hole, and sometimes we can see it. Maybe it's moved on. There's a puddle further back that is much wetter. It's still got a lot of water in it. Anyway, we're on Zoe's Road. Let's see what we can find on Zoe's Road. I think the thing about duiker, Jeffrey, is that one doesn't get to see them often, so you might get the impression that they're not very numerous. They're just very small, they tend to be solitary, and so one doesn't get an impression of them being common or numerous, but they are. Considering the amount of duiker that are eaten by leopards, they do pretty well. They do exceptionally well as a species, in fact. about termite mounds. Teresa's in Virginia Beach. Which is the largest? Have we got a termite mound that is the largest at Djuma? And what causes the decline of a termite mound? And well, I haven't really thought of which one is the largest. They all are pretty big. I've just seen a plated lizard dive down a hole. I wish it could have stayed there on a termite mound. What would cause termites to leave? Well, it's not really so much what causes them to leave, but what causes them to die out is something like, say, an aardvark digging into a termite mound to feed on the termites. And if a queen is killed, then it's possible that a secondary queen can be created, but she will be a lot smaller and she will not be able to support the termite colony. She won't be able to lay as many eggs as the primary queen. The secondary queen becomes merely well, if it's a very large termite colony, she just can't lay that many eggs that can keep it going, so it slowly it shrinks. If a termite mound is breached and things get into it, then they will eat all the termites, and without the queen, the colony will eventually die. And it's usually porcupines and aardvark and warthogs that burrow into the termite mound, sometimes modified by other animals like wild dog and hyena. And of course, there's so many different sized tunnels in a termite mound that there are a whole host of creatures that occupy them that also will modify the termite mound to suit, or the burrow, the hole, to suit themselves, whether it's dwarf mongoose or, as I've just seen now, we saw the other day, plated lizards, the rough-scaled plated lizards that live in them. A host of creatures that if they just find a small entrance, they can modify it to their own advantage. It's quite far south for those Kuruma lions to be that far, and I guess they've been fighting with the sticks then. Oh look, leopard tracks, but that's late last night. See if I can find some tracks for you to see. Voter in Cape Town wants to know if I can tell you about the internal structure of a termite mound. I have to be honest, I've never and I will never open a termite mound. I've seen pictures of cross sections and it's hard to, I guess, I don't have a book here. I can show you one of my other books, so we can bring it along later this afternoon if you're going to join us. Show you a picture of it and how that plays a role in temperature regulation, the whole structure. See, it's hard to explain. From what I understand, and I've only seen drawings of these things, and of course occasionally you see a mound that's been broken by an elephant, the pinnacle, but the pinnacle has here's a perfect example where the little bit of the top of the mound has been broken off, and we can see just a little bit of this, a little bit of the tunneling that is, but only, sorry, I'm just listening to other things and I'm distracting myself because I just heard some birds, and I don't think these leopard tracks are here anymore. That is not the way the whole termite mound is, what it looks like there with random tunnels. I mean, all of the pinnacles have these tunnels, and that helps to move airflow throughout the mound. They have the main chamber where the queen is, and in that chamber there's obviously a lot of activity, a very lot of termite activity around the queen that generates a certain amount of heat. And one of the things they do in different seasons is that they will alternate, or rather they will change the area where the queen is, so higher up, closer to the surface of the ground some times of the year, or deeper underground at different times of the year, and that helps to generate heat. They have fungus gardens that help to generate heat. They have tunnels that are, or rather chimneys that open up, vents as it were, that bring warm air out so that it can suck cooler, fresher air in, lower down, and that helps to oxygenate, that helps the termite mound breathe. The pinnacle itself on these termite mounds, because it is only these termites, this particular species that we're talking of now, the pinnacle itself has a large surface area in the cooler times of the day when the sun is at an angle, and then in the heat of the day when the sun is shining down from above, it has a smaller surface area. That helps to regulate temperature.
I'm not sure if you were noticing that the leopard tracks were here again.
No, I wasn't, because I was chatting too much. But thanks for keeping track, Andrew. Let's have a look down here at the junction and see which way it went. But it was walking before the drizzle last night, so not very fresh leopard tracks. Nothing there. Only a few little patches of sand where we're likely to pick up the tracks, because the ground is quite hard. And in here somewhere. Go and have a look on the main road, Triple M. And then we'll have to go up towards Sandy Patch if there's nothing here. My guess is it's up towards Sandy Patch. Bumpiest, shortest stretch of road in the entire reserve. Most bumpiest. Just have a look if I can find tracks crossing over anywhere here. A lot of impala tracks on the road. I was just thinking how there haven't been any flies this morning, and now they must have read my thoughts, because they've descended on me in vengeance. The road's been recently graded after the rain. It's smoothed up nicely, but there are no tracks yet. It would be fairly easy to see old elephant tracks here crossing down to the west. So let's go back up to Sandy Patch Road, Sandy Patch South. a big leopard was here too. Morning, Doug. How are you doing, Doug? In Washington. Is this unusual rain for the dry season? Has it brought out any pesky insects other than flies? Well, the only pesky insect to me are these little flies that they just insist on tickling the face, and it's almost like they do it on purpose. But really what they're doing is they're getting to the moisture and the salty secretions that our skin does, and the oily, I guess. No tracks here, but maybe it would have cut through. Not unusual. This is technically still towards the end of the wet season. I mean, I've known it to rain throughout April. It is a wonderful relief to have a little bit of rain before the dry season really starts. I mean, unbelievable how green it is just in 2 days. Last night's rain wasn't that heavy. There was mostly just a little drizzle around 2 o'clock during the night, and so it's not really much different to what it was, what insects came out from a few nights ago. Mostly there were termites just after the rain. There might be some beetles that are emerging, but none of them pesky really. Only flies that can be a little bit bothersome sometimes. And I think there are a lot of flies, mostly because it has been very dry. It has been exceptionally dry for the wet season, and normally with it, there's a leopard. There's the leopard we're looking for. Well done, Andrew. Wow, he's just trying to hide from me. You can't hide from me. I don't even know if that's the one we were following, because that one looks quite shy and smaller, but quite big tracks. That looks like a little leopard. Ducked down into the grass to try and hide from us. So I'm thinking...
It even looks a bit nervous.
Yeah. I'm not too sure who this leopard could be yet. Definitely not quarantine. And I don't think it is Djuma. Sitting up now.
Is this one of those ask the audience situations?
This is definitely an ask the audience. Phone friend. I am trying to get a facial shot. He's quite a big male. Well, one way to get the vehicles to leave the lion sighting is call this in. which I'm going to have to do shortly. I think we've got an answer coming in already. Anne-Marie and both asking, Anne-Marie and Virginia asking if this is Shadow's cub. No, this is not a cub, so we can rule out Shadow's cub. This looks like it's a male. I was seeing a little bit of a dewlap there, quite a thickish neck. Now, for the time being, since we saw the cat and it crouched down in the grass, I stopped the car as soon as I could to show that I'm not going to be a threat, and I want the cat to relax a little bit more, and then maybe we can make our way around the guari bush and maybe get a better look at it. But I think for now we're going to just sit. I'm not going to make too much noise. Let me see what the cat's going to be up to. I'll have to tell you my theory about dung beetles and flies in a little later stage, a little bit later on.
I mean, this could be Tingana, couldn't it?
Could be.
Because we're not that far from Arizona.
No, very close. But I think he's bigger than this too. I'm not seeing very tatty ears at all. And I'm sure we got a fairly good look at the face there. I've taken quite a couple of snaps zoomed in that I can also post later.
This doesn't look like a leopard that we see regularly.
Especially that behavior, being very, very shy like that. Right, I'm going to just call it in. George Ann from Illinois wants to know if this is Tingana. There again, looking at us. I don't know yet, George Ann. I think we'll just have to wait and see until we maybe get into a better position. Any station up near Sandy Patch? Ingwe, one Ingwe, Sandy Patch South, close to Impala Plains, halfway I suppose. Yeah, a lot of pounds at the moment. Okay, will do, thanks. The radio's going to get quite busy now, no doubt. Did you hear what was said from 5-hour control?
No.
Okay, general consensus on Twitter, message from Final Control saying that it's Tingana. Ow. Okay, I think what we do, let's try and make our way around the quarries. Trying to think where our bit is. Not going to get through there. this might be the best place for him. Oh yeah, this might be better. That's going to be about the best for the time being. Is that okay there, Andrew?
That's good.
I'm thinking it might be, looking at the size of his neck, he's a pretty muscular leopard, this. Beautiful cat, and a really lucky find. Well done.
That's how you find leopards though, isn't it? Just a lot of the times.
A lot of the times, yes, just very lucky to be in the right place at the right time. It's quite possible that had he not been walking, might have missed him. And if he was sitting down like this, could have driven right past him.
Easily.
But super lucky to have both big cats. It would be nice to have cheetah, but of course that's not going to happen, I don't think. Having said that, I have seen cheetah exactly here before, as we go out into this. Last I seen, what bumper was that? Oh, is that why they're so full? Anything left of the bumper? Okay, and then let me see, they come out from south or from the northern side? So, just hearing that a hyena just came running out of the bush onto Gowrie Main with a buffalo leg in its mouth. So it sounds like those lions killed a buffalo, and perhaps having, well, all sorts of speculation here. Mark, yeah, go ahead. Now, Kobus, if you come down towards Impala Plains from Sandy Patch, come past that power line, it's closer to Impala Plains. Any station on Arathusa copy? Any station in the west copy? Yeah, who's there? Hi Chris, you guys have any Mkonzo or any sighting of Tingana this morning? Okay, I've got an Ingwe just near Impala Plains, north of Impala Plains. I think it's Tingana. Yeah, we're still far in from Triple M though. Sorry, repeat. For now, I'm going to be here probably till close to end of drive. Okay, copy. Thanks, Chris. So, just thought I'd catch up with the guys on the other channel, on the Arathusa channel. That was one of the guides from, I think, Elephant Plains or Simbambili, one of the other lodges, and saying that they did have his tracks coming north. Mark Jacobus, go ahead. Yeah, keep coming south, and then after you get those open areas, before you get to Impala Plains, you'll see me on the western side of the road. Yeah, affirmative. He is getting up now. He's starting to walk west, so you should still be able to see me. I'm going to have to try and follow him. Lots of buffalo thorn here and copy that, thanks Tex. Yeah, I can see the power line now on Triple M. We're not far from Triple M. All stations, if anyone can hear me, I've got Tingana slowly making his way west on towards Triple M near Impala Plains. We're getting quite close to Triple M now, from Gary side. I'm going back to Gary Channel. see me, Clovis. Seems to be going back home, this cat. We're now coming out of Triple M. Got to keep track on both channels. And we're now heading west on Triple M. Oh, he's watching something. I can see he's got that tail twitch going, and he's getting into a stalk mode. Kubus, there's Impala. He's going for that Impala. Some Impala in the road, some bachelor boys, and he seems to have taken a little bit of a detour. I can't follow him, but he might go for those Impala. Can't see him anymore. There he goes, going quite deep in. I don't think he's making much of a play for them at all. Can you see him, Andrew?
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yes. Get his spots disappearing. Tingana.
He looked like he was going to go around, but
Yeah, it looked like he was going into full stalk mode. But I think all he wanted to do was avoid them seeing him, so he avoided the alarm calls.
he wouldn't go do a massive loop around, would he?
He could. He could. Ingrid's now across Triple M, no visual. Ah, Texan is just 2 minutes too late. Can hear the squirrels going crazy, and now that we know that there's a leopard and we hear the squirrels, it gives you an idea of what we listen for sometimes, because that is clearly squirrels calling a leopard or shouting at a leopard. Donegal. Yeah. There was some marla up ahead that looks like he might have been coming around, but I've just lost sight of him now. Pardon? Yeah. So we had a very, very lucky morning there. And I must find the branch. Tingana. See, this is where animals can cross boundaries, but we can't.
Do you think he just came this side to remark his boundary after the rain?
Probably. Or maybe also, maybe he's trying to find the scent of a female, maybe, in estrus. Could be anything, really. But yes, could be just patrolling his territory for a change. His northern limits, his northern and eastern limits of his territory. I'm going to take a wattle branch. And like there's a branch that's already dying. broken. I'm going to take a branch and leave a branch in the road more or less where we live on the road. And I just want to have a look at my map because I don't know this area, but I think I have it on the map. It's almost one-eyed pan area. There's a lovely big marula tree up there where he is headed. Did I bring my device? I think I did. Might have. Excuse me a sec. I'm just going to, because it Elizabeth in Milwaukee. Elaborate on the behavior before they go into stalk mode. I think it was one-eyed pan, perhaps? No, not really. We could probably catch up with him on Parallel Road North. Let's try that. I thought this might have been Simbambili, but it's not. It's actually Arakuza, so we could have... silly of me, and I'm afraid I thought we were much further north. We should have followed, could have followed him. Maybe. I must just check this next boundary road. What signs there are going into stalk mode? Well, the ears go flat backwards and the leopard crouches, and well, the tail sometimes twitches like that because the leopard gets excited. It's a very typical, very particular twitch to the tail. See a whole change in body language of a cat when it suddenly sees something and goes into stalk mode. Maybe he's going to come out onto this road. If we're lucky, he might even be coming down this road. The Impala also came through towards this road. Okay, Andrew, do your thing again.
Alrighty.
There was that, could be that big, no, this close. It's a little bit further north, I think. There was that one big marula that he was aiming for, that I was trying to mark. Could be that one there. But I think we covered quite a bit of distance.
Just moving at a pace.
Side of the drainage line. Try and listen for sounds like squirrels and things. Snake eagle, we can't stop for it right now. Yeah, this is more or less level with where he might have been coming out or coming through. Mark your guy. I lost him when he crossed over. I'm now on parallel north, trying to see if I can pick him up again. Just a little bit north of Impala Plains. I left a wattle branch in the road where he crossed over. There was a small bachelor group of marla that he was looking at. Impala.
Yeah, they look very relaxed.
Yeah. So, well, one of those young Impala. See, he could still be stalking. Mark Castle on Aerotuza. I'm trying to follow up on Tingana that just crossed Triple M. I'm on parallel north. I've seen some of the marla he was looking at earlier, but I can't find him. I'm looking for him again. Thank you. Any update for the rest of Safari and Dow? Alright, copy, thanks. Sounds good. Apologies folks, I'm just on Aerotuza now, so I've got a lot of radio work to do just for the time being. Okay. we'll do is we're going to try a little bit further up, and then we turn around, we come back. Quite often, if you just sort of do a little bit of patrolling up and down, you might get lucky. Oh gosh, we're running out of time too. I didn't realize that. Must be since we're having so much fun. So suddenly it gets exciting and a little bit of time goes by so quickly. But I think we're very lucky. We had a wonderful sighting of him. It was great to be able to see Tingana, and I have left a message with the Arathusa guys that he was here, and we can always try and find him or follow up on his tracks this afternoon. I'm sure those guys will too. We need to find our way back onto Gowrie. So my name is Mark, by the way. You've been with me and Andrew on camera this morning. Thank you for joining us. And Tara has been back in final control, sending us the questions. We do hope we'll see you again this afternoon, 3 o'clock Central African time. From all of us, love you lots. Bye bye.